Hi everyone. I'm creating this video to share some information about what are some of the important documents which one needs to apply after the birth of a newborn babies. And this is in specific with just the US, not with other countries. And then I'll also share how to apply for those documents. So if you will watch this whole video, there are a couple of things you will get out of it. One is you will understand that what's the right order of applying documents. In other words, what's the first document which needs to be applied, then what is the second and what's the third. Because what happens is most of the people try to apply for the document and then it needs some other document first and then it never gets processed. And then I'll also show how to apply for those documents and what are some of the common mistakes people do. Like I have got some experiences from my friends, I have some of my own experience, and intention is by sharing that you guys won't repeat it, and also sharing some tips so that things will become easier for you guys. So if I go through kind of agenda here on this video, I'll first talk about how to apply for the birth certificate. And then I'll talk about how to apply for the US passport. And then I'll talk about some common mistakes and share some experiences. And then I will talk about how to apply for a social security card. And then I will summarize some of the key things which are very important. Yeah, so let's get started. So let's talk about a birth certificate first. So when you go to the hospital to do the registration, which happens like from 6th month of pregnancy or 7th month of pregnancy, they will give you a full package of documents, and inside that there will be a one document for filling the information for the baby. And if they don't provide it, which is very rare, then you can download it from a Department of State of Health website. Now, if you're living in Chicago or if you're living in New York, you can download it from the respective state health website. But I don't think you need it because hospitals will have it for sure. Now, let me show you what that document looks like. Now, this is the document what hospital will share you. They call it as a parent's worksheet for child's birth. And if you look at the first two compounds here, one is what's the name of the hospital, what's the timing of the birth. You do not need to worry about these two pieces because hospital officials will fill up these two for you. The nurses and the staff, they take care of the exact timing of the birth, so you don't need to find that or look for that information, but they will fill up those two pieces here. What you should worry about is making sure that you enter the parent first and parent second legal name correctly. And whatever name is on your passport, make sure that you enter the same name here. If that name doesn't match with this, then you will have issues in future. For example, if my spelling on passport is ABC and I'm writing here just AB, then if I need to apply for my child's OCI card, then Indian Embassy will not process that because they will try to see and validate that whatever father's name is on baby's birth certificate, that should exactly match with father's passport. So make sure whatever is on your passport for parent 1 and parent 2, you put the same spelling and the same name here in those fields. The other thing is child's legal name. Now, if you already know the gender of the baby, I'll suggest that when you do the registration in the hospital on 8th month or 9th month or before that, make sure that you enter the name here. And if you don't know the gender, then just keep two names, for one for baby boy and baby girl, and then as soon as you deliver the baby, just get this form filled. The one mistake, not mistake, but one caution there is make sure that you enter the last name for the baby. I know there are some cultural things here, like in mostly in South India and other states in India, people don't have last name. And I'm from North India. I have a similar problem. Maybe for some reasons I got my last name missed on some documents. Like my passport has my whole name in a given name, and my last name is empty, and that has given me a lot of problems. So some of you may not have last name on the passport, and you may be more aware than me that how much problem that brings. So make sure you do not pass that to your child. Make sure you give them a last name. If you don't have, just give your second name as a last name. But this field is very important. If you don't fill it, then they're gonna have a problem in future. They're gonna get issues with getting visas, they're gonna have issues getting driving license, they're gonna get issues with a lot of other things, because last name is mandatory in many countries. So make sure that you fill this. Even if you don't have it, make sure you give some last name to them. And then the other fields here are very basic, like giving again the parents information and other things. And after that, you will submit this with the hospital, and then they will do everything needed, submitting it to the officials to get the birth certificate processed. What other thing they will give you is they will give you this document, and this is called verification of birth facts, and this is a very important document. This document has got a stamp of the hospital, so make sure that you get this document. So why this is needed is if you don't get the birth certificate, or if you lost the birth certificate in the future, this is a proof that your baby was born in the States and in this hospital. So with the help of this document, you can get the birth certificate anytime. So make sure you get a copy of this and keep it in a safe place. And then the hospital will give you the number of your local city county clerk office, basically, which gives you the birth certificate. So make sure you call them after 2 weeks, and if the birth certificate is ready, they will ask you to come to the office. And when you go to office, they will give you this application. This is again one easy to fill application. But one thing which will confuse you here is there are different types of birth certificates here. Like there is a long form birth certificate, there is a short form birth certificate. Now which one you will get? So what you have to do is you have to apply for long form, like get 2-3 copies here for long form, and then short form also get 1 or 2 copies. The difference is the long form birth certificate is very detailed birth certificate, like it will have baby's parents name, it will have baby's time of birth, and other details like which city, which county he was born in, which hospital he was born in, who was the doctor attending. It will have a long list of details. The short form birth will have a very minimal details, like just baby's name and his date of birth, and that's it, and which state he was born in. And most generally, this is most commonly used like for school admissions and for driving licenses, but the first one you need for passport. So more information is always better. Make sure you get 3-4 copies of first one and get just 1 or 2 copies of the short form birth. The other information there is make sure you carry cash with you, because those clerk offices, they don't accept credit or debit cards. So take cash with you so that it becomes easy. And then the birth certificate, like for the state of Texas, it looks like something like this. And these are all original copies. Make sure you keep them safe. So now you got the birth certificate. Now I also mentioned what are some of the important points that you need to make sure you follow them. Now the next thing is how to apply for the passport. Now for passport, basically as per the theory and instructions, of passport, you just need the birth certificate. And then there's an online method of submitting the application form, and there is also the offline method. But no matter whether you follow online or offline, you need to book a face-to-face appointment with the passport office. Now you can just Google search book appointment for passport office at USPS office, and then like US has a lot of USPS post offices, and you will definitely get one appointment. Like it's not hard to get. So make sure you get an appointment with them, and then you also choose service of getting a photograph for the baby, so that they will take the photograph at the counter. The important thing there is I'll show you how that passport form looks like offline copy. This is how it looks like. Now again, make sure you put the baby's last name in the birth certificate and then also put it here in the passport. And the important point here is about the SSN number, and I'll go there in a minute, but let me talk about a photograph here. The passport photograph here needs to be in specific specifications, and also both the ears of the baby needs to be visible. Now imagine a 3 days, 5 days, or just a 3 weeks old baby. They don't keep their head in a one place. They are most of the time sleepy, and the passport needs their eyes to be open and their both ears to be visible. So make sure that you carry car seat with you, because in car seat they remain very calm, and they're having those um, belts around them which keeps them safe so they don't fall and keeps them in a specific position. So make sure you carry that with you to USPS office, and carry a white blanket so that you cover the back side of the baby with that, because those photos need a white background. If you don't have it, you don't need it, because they can edit the background with any color they want. And carry some toys, because so that you can show those toys to baby and he can look at those toys so that the photographer can click a nice picture. And I'm not saying nice in terms of getting it a very cute picture, but just getting eyes open and ears visible, because if you don't get that right, then your passport will not be processed. So the other important thing there is about this SSN number. Now, if you look at the instructions above on a couple of pages here, it's mentioned that if you don't have SSN number, then just put the zeros in all these boxes. As when I applied for my baby, I applied for his birth certificate, and then I thought I'll apply for passport. And so what I did was I entered zeros in all the boxes here, and then I submitted the application and they accepted it, and I submitted the fees. But what happened to my surprise, after a few months, I got this letter from the passport office. And what this letter is saying is, thank you for your recent passport application. However, it appears that you wrote your SSN incorrectly on your passport application. So what's saying is all the zeros I wrote, that's some incorrect SSN number. But I think they don't realize that that means I don't have SSN, and I haven't wrote it just because I liked it, but it's like what is in their instructions. So what it asked me to do is to write the correct SSN number. Now I thought if I again enter zeros here, then it's going to be getting into that indefinite loop where I'll continue to get those letters. So what I did is I then started applying for the SSN number. So very important point here is, don't apply for passport as a second document. Get the SSN number for the baby as a second step, and then you apply for the passport. And again, important points for passport: get the car seat, get the toys, get the baby to the passport when he doesn't sleep. Like you may be knowing the pattern of the baby, when he sleeps most, when he's awake, so get the appointment at the proper time. So for the social security card, what you need is a SSN application, which you can download from Google or SSN website. And you need the birth certificate, which you would have already received. And you need a parent's passport, just one parent's passport and visa. Um, and the other two things you need is baby's health insurance card, which has his name and the insurance number, and also the baby's immunization card. So you would have definitely contacted the child doctor, and he may be immunized for sure. So they will give you the immunization card, which will have the baby's name. So for SSN, they need those documents to get that processed. So this is how the SSN card looks like. Very simple. Needs the baby's information, his place of birth. If parents doesn't have SSN, just click on unknown and unknown here. But the important thing is that you need to give them those documents. Now you can give them in by visiting to SSN office, but due to COVID and other stuff, they were off. So what I did was I mailed them all through a registered mail, all of these documents. I even sent them my original passport, and then they will send you the back original passport and birth certificate, and then after 2 or 3 weeks they will send you the SSN card back. Yeah, so make sure that you get these documents right. If you don't have immunization card, talk with your child doctor and get those things done. So if I summarize whatever I mentioned, I think some of the important points is make sure you give your baby a last name. It's super important. And make sure you follow the right order. You get the birth certificate first, and then you apply for SSN. Don't apply for US passport as second. And then at last you apply for US passport, because now you have SSN number, and then when you go to the US passport application, you can enter the right SSN number here. And it's always good to link the passport and SSN so that you don't have to do it separately. And make sure that for passport appointment you take the car seat and you take some toys with you to get the right picture for the baby. And I also mentioned on some tips like how to apply and what are some of the things you need to make sure you follow them. So if you think this was an informative session, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends. And if there's any other questions which I haven't covered, if you can put them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.